Hey guys, this is Denny.
And this is James from TDB, bringing you in between episode number 142. So Denny is here with me today. This is a tea that was kindly sent to me by a operation. They go by a bunch of different names. Jingjiatang. They're alltea.taobao.com. So straight from China. This is a raw pu'erh from 2007. It's sort of intended as a daily drinker. It's priced as such, I think, like $25 for 250 grams or something.
Wow.
It's from Bada Mountain. I think it's a spring and autumn blend as well. So we are going to get started.
Cool. So this has some age on it, but it hopefully will improve a little bit. But with these daily drinkers and these value teas, they're meant to be drank. So these aren't the kind of teas that you're going to hold for 30 years and use as an investment.
No.
These are the kind of teas that you want to consume.
Yep. Have a smell?
Yep. Smells good. Got some ripe characteristics to it for sure.
Yeah, some very ripened fruit sort of sweetness to it. The aroma's not super strong. You kind of got to get in there to get at it.
Let's see what the liqueur looks like here. I'm interested. Do a couple rinses here. It's looking in between, right? It's that yellow that's getting oranger.
Yeah, and it'll probably get a little bit darker
definitely.
on subsequent infusions.
Not the most crazy aromatic.
Yep.
And this was a flash brew off of the second steeping.
Yep. 5 grams, 70 milliliters.
Cool.
Or 60
standard.
milliliters. I don't know, something like that.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Ooh. It's light texturally. It's got a nice sweetness. It's really getting the tip of my tongue. There's a little bit of hints of I want to say like very light hints of some sort of roasted flavors at the end. Not too much going on in my mouth otherwise.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, it's got sort of like a quick, slick mouthfeel. The body is not as heavy as, for instance, the tea that we had 2 weeks ago, the Mao Cha. It's kind of got like a light fruit thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a little bit oranger now.
Yep.
A little darker. And this is also a flash brew, right?
It is, yeah.
And you'll notice that even before drinking that first cup, James was already brewing the next cup. And so we're retaining a lot more heat as well. So
Yeah, and I also want to just give it some time to cool down.
yeah, absolutely.
The liqueur, that is.
Yeah.
So each one darker than the previous infusion. So the aroma is coming out a little bit stronger now. Guy one has fully expanded.
Most definitely. A little bit of that sweet raisin, woody pencil shavings thing. This actually does smell closer to a ripe pu'erh to me than a raw, interestingly enough.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say it definitely has that sort of like ripe fruit going on.
Right.
And I would say that I don't get hints of pencil shavings, but I do get hints of wood, which is probably the same thing, more or less,
Yeah.
at least. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing to comment about this so far is that there isn't a ton of viscosity in this, actually.
Mm-hmm. The flavor has thickened, and why don't we push this a little bit more for the next infusion, depending on how this third infusion is.
Yeah, sounds good. No hints of bitterness or tannin, astringency. I'm getting this like lasting, slightly roasted flavor on the roof of my mouth. And otherwise, I'm hoping that wasn't because we just had Louis last week.
That's a pretty long aftertaste.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because it's got some age on it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not. It's clearly got some time to develop yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because we actually did film 4 episodes today, and this is the 4th tea, the palate is not coming into this clean, so
Right.
the tea definitely tastes different than it would if it was like the first tea of the day.
For sure, 100%. But I'm not getting like smoke out of this. It's not very like vegetal. It's I think it's got little hints of earthiness to it, little hints of mineraliness to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, weirdly enough, this is reminding me of the Wii that we just had, actually. But I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's
Interesting.
I think it literally, or I think that is a coincidence. Excuse me. I think it's just got those flavors.
And when would you drink a tea sort of like this?
This wouldn't be the first tea of the day for me, because it has enough aggressive flavor in it that, and we've talked about this before on the show, like, kind of building your way up to those intense flavors. So this wouldn't be the first one that I would have. It might be something that I would have after a rich meal, a couple, 20 minutes after a rich meal. It feels like an afternoon tea to me for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting a ton of crazy energy off of this per se. But I think it would balance out food well.
The leaves are very dark, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I to segue off of what you were saying, I would generally agree with you. I think it's a very middle-of-the-road tea.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some age, not a lot. The base material is pretty tasty, but it's not like a tea where you're like, oh my god, this is like so much flavor or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's not also a tea that's like super subtle either.
Right.
So it's like about as middle of the road as you could get.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's a great value tea. It's a good daily drinker.
Yeah.
It can fit that category for you of the affordable but has some aged pu'erh. It's not at all a young pu'erh. It doesn't have the young pu'erh flavors. And this can be, one of the cakes that you reach for in the afternoon after having a lunch or something like that.
Or a good tea to sort of showcase to friends about like what raw pu'erh can taste like. It's not extreme enough that I don't think it would rub anyone. I would have a hard time thinking that anyone would hate this tea.
No, not at all. It has those raw aftertastes now. It's kind of coming into itself a little bit more.
Yep.
And I would think that this could steep out for quite some time still.
Yeah, and this brew is this one actually did bring out a little bit of that astringency to it. A little bit more of that like stone fruits. It's sweet and then it's astringent.
I think
like that sensation.
Yeah, I think a higher quality tea would have a little bit more lingering flavor. I think it would also be a little bit more viscous.
Yeah.
It's a balance, and for what this tea is, I think it's performing really well.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So Denny, where could someone find out more about tea?
Check us out on tdb.org. We are doing weekly updates with James and I, and we have all the different social medias all over the place. Check us out on the widgets and the sidebars and the up bars and the down bars. And,
wow, you sound like
and
an
in
old
bars.
person.
Maybe we'll be in your bar someday.
Yeah. Follow us on Internet Explorer. Pause button.
The classic.
Yeah.
And where can folks learn more about this team?
Yeah, you guys can learn more about these guys at Jingjiatang.com or on alt.taobao.com.
Probably a little easier.
If you guys are the ones that are doing the Taobaoing like myself. This operation presses their own teas. There's a lot of younger teas that I think we're going to bring on to the show pretty soon.
Cool.
This one is supposed to be sort of like their daily drinker with a little bit of age. So $25 or something around that for 250 grams, which I think it's a pretty reasonable price to pay for something that's reasonably tasty.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys next time for 142.
We'll go with that. Yeah.
Cheers.